I'm now reading about U.S. speeds up drone missile deliveries to aid Iraq. The United States said it would speed up its deliveries of missiles and surveillance drones to Iraq as the Baghdad government battles a resurgence of al-Qaeda-linked militants. The White House, meanwhile, dismissed claims that the fighting, which has seen militants retake the city of Fallujah, was a result of President Barack Obama's decision to withdraw U.S. troops. Vice President Joe Biden spoke by phone with Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki and expressed concern for those Iraqis who are suffering at the hands of terrorists. A statement said, Maliki affirmed the importance of working closely with Iraq's Sunni leaders and communities to isolate extremists. Biden also spoke with Iraqi Council of Representatives Speaker Osama al-Lujafi. Biden praised the recent cooperation between Iraqi security forces and Sunni local, tribal, and national leaders in the fight against the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant currently unfolding in Anbar province, the White House said. Jaffe reaffirmed his commitment to Iraq's fight against terrorism. It added, the Pentagon said what Washington will accelerate delivery of 100 more Hellfire missiles, which were due to be sent to Iraq in the next few months. Colonel Stephen Warren said an additional 10 Scan Eagles surveillance drones would also be delivered. Hellfire missiles, originally designed as an anti-tank weapon, can be fired from helicopters and warplanes. Scan Eagle drones are a low-cost, free-meter aircraft capable of flying 24 hours. The deliveries correspond to contracts already signed with Iraq. Some 75 Hellfire missiles were delivered to Baghdad in mid-December, U.S. officials said. Since then, Iraq has seen a resurgence of fighting in the province of Anbar, which was a key insurgent stronghold for years following the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq in 2003. Last week, fighters from the Qaeda-linked Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL reclaimed Fallujah, scene of some of the bloodiest fighting of the Iraq War between U.S. troops and insurgents. Warren said Washington was working with Iraq to develop a holistic strategy to isolate Qaeda affiliated groups, so the tribes working with the security forces can drive them out of the populated areas. But it reiterated previous statements from U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry that no American forces would return to Iraq to assist in military operations. We will not be sending forces to Iraq, he said. Instead, the United States will continue to provide intelligence to assist and advise the Iraqis at a ministerial level through some 100 military personnel still based at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. The assistance would not extend to operational advice. We are not doing tactical work with the Iraqis, Warren said. Despite the withdrawal of U.S. forces from Iraq at the end of 2011, the United States remains a key security and defense partner, providing more than $14 billion worth of weapons to Baghdad since 2005. Following the renewed fighting, the White House has been forced to rebut claims that the militants are filling a vacuum left by the departure of U.S. forces. There was sectarian conflict, violent sectarian conflict in Iraq when there were 150,000 U.S. troops on the ground there, said White House spokesman Jay Carney. I'm now reading about Iran rejects U.S. suggestion of Syrian peace talks role. Iran on Monday appeared to rule out participation in Syrian peace talks later this month, dismissing a U.S. suggestion that it could be involved from the sidelines as not respecting its dignity. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry suggested on Sunday there might be ways Iran could contribute from the sidelines in a so-called Geneva II Peace Conference in Montreux, Switzerland, on January 2012. And on Monday, U.S. officials said Tehran might still be able to play a helpful role. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon was sending out invitations on Monday to potential participants in the talks, but while he wants Iran to attend, there was no agreement yet on whether to invite it. The key players in the talks are President Bashar al-Assad's government and opposition rebels who have been fighting for nearly 3 years to oust him. Syrian opposition groups and Washington, which accuse Tehran of supporting Assad with manpower and arms during the uprising against him, have long had reservations about the participation of Iran, although the United Nations Special Envoy on Syria, Lakhdar Brahimi, has backed Tehran's involvement. While there has been a warning in U.S.-Iranian ties this year, including a November 2024 deal to curb the Iranian nuclear program, there are no visible signs that this has led to greater improvement in other areas such as Syria, where they are on opposite sides of the civil war. Kerry reiterated U.S. opposition to Iran being a formal member of the peace talks because it does not support a 2012 international agreement on Syria. That Geneva I Accord called for the Syrian government and opposition to form a transitional government by mutual consent, a phrase Washington says rules out any role for Assad. Russia, a sponsor of the plan, disputes that view. On Monday, U.S. officials said Iran could improve its chances of playing a role on the sidelines of the Syria peace talks by working with Damascus to stop the bombardment of civilians and improve humanitarian access. There are steps that Iran could take to show the international community that they are serious about playing a positive role, one of the officials said in Brussels. Those include calling for an end to the bombardment by the Syrian region of their own people. It includes calling for and encouraging humanitarian access. Another official made clear that the comment on bombardment referred to Syria's biggest city, Aleppo, where dozens have been killed in raids in which the Syrian Air Force has used improvised barrel bombs. No indication. Iran had, however, given no indication it was ready to take any of these steps. A U.S. official said and noted there was opposition to Tehran's participation from other nations. The official did not identify this, but they are likely to include Gulf Arab states such as Saudi Arabia, Iran's regional rival. The U.S. officials who declined to be named said Washington still believed it was less likely than likely that Iran would play any role at the conference, even on the sidelines. That Iran and the United States had not discussed the matter directly. State Department spokesman Mary Harf said that for the Iranians even to be considered for any role in the talks, they would have to demonstrate that they would do things that would be less destructive in Syria. White House spokesman Jay Carney said Iran would have to publicly endorse the terms of the Geneva I Accord if it wanted to participate in the process. In remarks quoted by state television, the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman said Tehran supported a political solution to end the Syrian civil war, in which at least 100,000 people have been killed and millions uprooted. Rebel groups.